My name is Doris Horenstein. I am an author and a speaker and an educator. And my life nowadays is going around and inspiring others to live their best life, a life with a purpose.
My name is Steve Sprecher. I am a minister in the United Methodist Church. So, the United Methodist brand of Christianity. I've been retired for about 60 years after doing about 42 years of active ministry in the church.
My name is Sarah. I am Muslim and I am a guide at Wayfinding and a doula.
What can prevent someone from achieving their good life?
Probably a focus on the wrong things, materialism, thinking that you can have the good life if you just drive the right car, have the right house, use the right shampoo, have enough money so that you can buy stuff. I think focusing on that prevents people from recognizing what is really important in life in terms of those relationships. And I guess a self-centeredness or a self-focused enough or too much where it causes you not to be thinking about your relationship to other people and other people's value, not only for themselves but in your life. So people who are selfish enough that they don't see that, I think that prevents them from having a really satisfying life.
Them. It starts with yourself. It starts with who you are as a person and how much you're willing to work for, grow, explore, be open to other people's feedback. I think we are the ones that sometimes are the biggest obstacles to our own self. It says, we have a phrase in Judaism, it says, Im en ani li mili, right? If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? The first step is, do you, as a human being, step onto the plate and saying, I am present here? If you choose your life to live by the side and not take responsibility and always blame others and feel the victim, then victim you shall be. It's as simple as that, but if you say to yourself, no, I am here as a winner, which by the way, I think the Jewish people throughout history were people who, even though we have been victims to so many things in life, we never had the victim mentality. The opposite. We had the winner and the triumph mentality. And that's what sustained us throughout the centuries to be who we are today. Because if we had the victim mentality, Judaism would not be in existence today. It is in existence today because we are a group of fighters. We are a group of, people who don't give up. People who have constant hope. And that's, by the way, our national anthem. It's called The Hope. Because without the hope, we will not be where we are as people. And it doesn't mean that we all have to agree with everybody, but I think that the goal is to have hope and then follow it up with actions. And doing these two things through courage. Because I think we need to have courage in order to get to where we want to be for the good life.
I think that there are a lot of structural barriers in the world, like systemic racism and classism and poverty and capitalism and all of these things that are barriers to people living the way that they should be able to live, especially in countries like the United States, where that's just the system of how we live. And for one person to achieve the good life, they have to step on other people to be able to get that. And I think that is not truly a good life if you are having to oppress or exploit other people to be able to achieve it. and at the same time, for the people who are at the bottom, they're not able to achieve a good life because they're being oppressed and exploited in the service of like somebody else's supposed good life.
I think it's definitely an individual thing, because a definition of a good life for me may be different than a definition of good life for somebody else. So for me, good life is about where do I find satisfaction? Where do I find pleasure? For other people, good life could be a big mansion that they live in, or how many times they go to Europe for a vacation. And for me, a good life, meaning, can I have my cup of coffee in my deck outside and enjoy the beautiful, crisp Portland air? So it depends. Good life is a very subjective concept, and it depends on the individual and how do they feel about it. So I feel that I have had all my life good life. Even though growing up, I was a sibling, one of 4 or 5 siblings. My parents worked very hard to make ends meet. And I felt from day one that I had a good life. And why? Because I grew up with the concept of love. I was shown love. My parents cared for me, cared for all of our siblings, and they gave us the structure and the basis of what good life means. And that means a community. And that means people, surrounding yourself with people who love you and who will be supportive of you, but also will tell you when you messed up. They will tell you because they love you. They don't tell you because they want to hurt you or because they want to, jeopardize things that you do, but it's coming from a clean, pure place, the place of love. And I think that helped me grow to the person that I am today, and to influence how I teach students and how I react with my community. And when we used to do this work as a Jewish educator, and I was educating and coaching teenagers and listening to parents talk about their problems. And all that, I think, was based in my roots and I call it my healthy roots. What's the difference between healthy roots and non-healthy roots? Healthy roots are the ones that you nourish today because of them, right? Think of a tree, think of a plant. When you keep on watering those roots, these roots are good because they help the tree and the branches and the leaves grow and develop. These are the good roots. And I believe that I grew up and I very good roots, and I nourished the good roots. And whatever that was negative, I let it die. I didn't water it. I didn't dwell on it. So you let it go.
So yes, certainly there's a communitarian aspect to it. But there's also an individual aspect to it, and I can define what is a good life for me, which for me includes the community, regardless of what other individuals are doing and how they're defining life. So in the end, of course, I think we all are responsible for deciding what the good life is for us. And I just not only believe personally, but in terms of the faith grounding that I have, that for me includes community.
I think it's both. I think, like I said earlier, there are certain things that have to be in place for people to be able to have a good life, like societally and structurally. Like I said, people need to be able to have water, they need to have food. At the same time, what feels like a good life is going to vary depending on who you are and like your personal beliefs. And I think that there should be space for both of those things to exist. So a society should be a just society, and it should be not oppressive, and it should exist so that people have access to all the things that they need. At the same time, it should have space for people to explore their personal desires and their personal beliefs to be able to achieve what they conceive of as a good life, in addition to the society already existing and giving the structure for people to have the freedom and comfort that they need.
The good life is living your purpose. The good life is living your purpose. what were you born to do? Figure it out. What were you born to do? What is your calling? And then how do you make that a reality in your life? How do you live up to your purpose? Right? The word purpose is connected to the word direction, right? It's kavanah and kivun, right? Kavanah is like more of an intention, and kivun is more of a direction. You want to make sure that those two concepts are together. Where are you going in life? That's your purpose, right? Where are you going? And do you have the right intention to lead you where you're going? And that's the good life. And that's right there, the good life. And of course, you can't do it by yourself. You have to have a community. And I think Judaism has that embedded into the concept of Judaism. We have the word kehillah. We have the word, you have to pray in a minyan. You have to have a group of 10 people to pray. So the idea of surrounding yourself with people is a very basic Jewish concept. So the good life is doing what you were born to do, finding it, doing it, and surrounding yourself with people that accompanying you along the way. Because otherwise, living by yourself in solitude is kind of sad. And by the way, Judaism does not support that either, right? We don't have monks in Judaism. Judaism is not for somebody not to be married. Judaism says you should marry. You should be with another person. You should live a family. So you should have children. That's Judaism thought. And I think that supports the good life.
But that connectedness is what helps move us to the good life. And whatever gets in the way of that is what keeps us from that. And I'd say most of us, at least those of us who believe that there is a sort of a spiritual reality, however we experience and define that, we experience it imperfectly, and individuals to a more or lesser degree, and our striving is to strengthen that as well as we can each and every day, and not only to God but to the rest of God's human creation, and not just people but trees and nature and everything else is part of God's creation.
I think my definition of the good life is to be just, to fight against oppression, to build a world where everyone has freedom and self-determination, and can appreciate the beauty and comfort that comes with life, rather than just having their very basic needs met, but allowing them to live like a full existence. And so a good life comes from ensuring that everyone has those things.